Hi and welcome to Minivan Camper Building with Leslie, coming at you from Dad's garage once more. For now, we'll be on the road soon and won't have the luxury of working in Dad's garage. So we're gonna take advantage. Today's project involves a pool noodle and this marine grade fabric. Here's what I'm going to address today. You might notice these crossbars have some padding on them, and it's really a mishmash of materials and experiments. The first thing I tried is on this rear crossbar, and that's a pipe insulation that I just wrapped around and used some zip ties to secure around the crossbar, which is actually a 1-inch perforated tube with an eye hook on the end. Pretty creative, right? And this was a different experiment where I did use a pool noodle. This one's actually holding up okay. I wrapped it in some landscaping material, and that right now it looks okay, like it's holding up, but I can tell you that it won't. Here's how I know. On the driver's side, I did the same thing, and here's what happened. So yeah, eventually the sun wears the material down and pool noodles fly off on the highway, so not cool. That's what we're going to fix today. I'm actually not sure yet if I'm going to use a sewing machine to make covers for the pool noodles out of this material, or if I'm just going to wrap it around somehow and maybe staple and zip tie. I don't know yet. We'll see what looks like it will be the best possible solution. So let's see what happens. Okay, I want to measure these both because they might wind up to be different lengths based on a lot of different factors going on up here. So let's check it out. That should take about a 14-inch length of padding right there. I'm also going to have to allow right here for some extra space so this brace can poke through. That is what holds the crossbar onto the roof rail. So that's pretty important, and we got to accommodate that. As a matter of fact, while I'm up here, let me just go rip this whole thing off. Nice. That just fell somewhere. I may never get it back. All right, here's that 1-inch square perforated tubing that I'm using for crossbars. I love it. You may have seen me mention it in some other videos, especially my general van tour. But this stuff is great because it's customizable, a lot cheaper than getting, you know, those expensive like Thule crossbars or whatever. And it's, for us, it's the exact perfect size that we need to carry some kayaks, which is why we have the padding on here. Easy to install a couple of eye hooks on the end to lash down the kayaks, or whatever. It's always handy to have eye hooks. So this is the guts of the crossbars. This is what they look like underneath. And here's that brace that secures it. We got to cut some extra space in the padding to make room for it. All right, this front one is actually going to be about, let's see, actually about the same, more like 13.5, 14-ish. Probably some room in there. This one's, you know, obviously different because what I did with this was I already had a pool noodle and tied it off with a little nylon rope here. So easy, really comes off easily. And you can see the difference underneath here where the material started and the effect that the sun's had on it. So it's not going to be long till this one breaks down too. I didn't want another pool noodle to fly off on the road. Oh man, it's 46 inches long, so I've got exactly So what's that give me? Like 11 and a half. Is that right? 44? Yeah. So yeah, 11 and a half each. I don't know. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. All right, I can already see a problem here in that this pool noodle here that I just bought is smaller, especially in the interior space here, than the old one that was on there. So let's see if this even fits around those crossbars. Whatever, let's give it a shot. Fingers crossed. That actually might work. Since I have one of these covers that I already made, so I'm going to disassemble it and then use it as a pattern to make some new ones out of this allegedly high quality marine grade material. All right, I'm just going to double check some proportions. This old noodle is a little over 13 inches long, and this old cover is about 17 inches long. So, all right, let's say we're adding an extra 4 inches to our current noodle, so 11 and a half, so 15 and a half on the material. Great, I got plenty of room to work with here. Okay, well, I raided Mom's sewing room, and I borrowed this little tool right here. What do you call this? Like a seam, I think Mom calls it a seam ripper. Perfect for ripping the seams of this thing. So let's rip it apart. All right, now I'm just going to basically copy the important parts here onto the new marine grade material. Fortunately, it has this fabric backing to it that makes it really easy to mark with a pencil. So let's try it out. I did all those measurements, but I kind of got to reevaluate here because it turns out my new marine grade material only measures 27 and a half, so 55, right? 55 in length, but if I measure out this old covering, it's actually 15 and a half in length, which gives me like I need 62. So maybe I can get away with just making it shorter since my noodles are smaller. Let's see how that goes. Let's test this here. This is going to wrap over and in. And there's going to be a seam. And wow. Okay. This actually looks like it might even be too much material. So I could even cut it down a little further just to keep a nice tight covering on this pool noodle. Let's see what happens here. All right, I'm making these cuts here and here because I'm trying to copy the cut of this original piece of fabric, where part of this folds and gets sewn one way and part of it gets folded a different way and sewn along the same seam. So that's going to create the space here for the little nylon rope to go through. So that's going like this. That's going like this. And that's going like this. Let's go see if the sewing machine can handle this. Well, here I am in Mom's domain, the sewing room, and I love these things. I actually bought my own sewing machine, and I consider it my next level power tool because it's really helped in a lot of these van build projects. So here we are, and I'm kind of regretting I didn't bring some super heavy duty outdoor marine grade thread with me from Florida, because that would be really helpful for this, and I forgot to order some. So let's see what Mom has. I don't think Mom does a lot of heavy duty sewing projects. Goat lacing? What? Oh, useless. Somebody's got to talk to those goats. Hey, Mom. Do you have any heavy duty thread by any chance? You do? Yeah, whatever, yeah. Not heavy duty. Okay. What else do we need over here? Wow, look at this. This is heavy duty.
What is it?
I don't know, but it looks useful.
Oh my God. Right, I feel like coming out of a cave.
I remember reading somewhere or seeing in a video somewhere that if you have multiple things that you're making, for example, 4 of these or multiples of anything, the best thing to do is go through the process of making the first one entirely all the way through. That way you figure out any mistakes or anything ahead of time on just the one, and then you'll have 3 more that you already know how to do perfectly. Did it come out perfectly? Well, I don't know. Let's find out. All right, let's see if it fits. All right, the size is pretty good, even just fiddling with the lengths. But there's the problem. I realized I forgot to leave a place for that brace, this brace here, to sit into this. So I'm going to split a little bit of the seam inside and let that have some space to sit into. All right, I just took the noodle out. I turned this fabric inside out. I undid about 2.5 inches of the seam and then reinforced it, turned it back the right way, and put the noodle in. So this ought to help it sit down a little bit lower over this brace. Not really good with knots like I should be, so I'm just tying it like a shoelace, doing a little double knot. Okay, there's one of them. 3 more to go. What do you think? So here they are finished, all four of them on there. They really fill out the crossbars because those 1-inch perforated tubes are so narrow. These don't have maybe the perfect, fit. I think I might tweak this a little bit so it just fits a little nicer. But other than that, they'll work. These are on there, they look solid. The parachute cord that I used around the ends, that should hold up real nice. My dad tells me that's supposed to be UV resistant, so hopefully that doesn't shred and fall off. But there you go. Since you're here, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? We can keep in touch. Ask any questions that you like. Check out all the other videos about my full van build, and I'll answer any questions that you have about the van, how I did it, etc. Always good hanging out, and I'll see you next time.